Hello and welcome. This is my Mongoose Dolomite. Obviously, it's a fat tire bike. I bought it from Wal-Mart.com for $279. Now, if you're not familiar with this particular bike, when I got it, I performed some upgrades. I replaced the stock stem and the narrow, small diameter steel handlebars with a Wake 45mm stem and Wake 720mm handlebars. I also put a set of Rock Bros grips on it and a set of Rock Bros pedals. Now those changes improved the bike an awful lot. It improved the handling because I wasn't reaching forward all the time, and the wider handlebars give you a lot more leverage, so turning was easier, which you need with these big tires. But the big change was when I swapped into the Sunrace Mega Range 8-speed freewheel. I went from a 28-tooth climbing gear to a 34-tooth climbing gear, combined with the stock 36-tooth front chainring. Makes for a much easier climb, and with a bike that's as heavy as this, is well north of 45 pounds, you need all the help you can get. Now, I recently upgraded to an Altus rear derailleur. The tourney that I had on it was advertised as being 7 or 8 speed, but I could never get all 8 gears. And you know, I could have just left it so I never got onto the highest gear, because how often am I going to be racing this thing at full speed? Never. And also, since the last time this bike has been on video, I repacked all the bearings. Bottom bracket, front and rear wheels, head tube. In a moment, I'm going to go get changed up, and I'm going to take this bike for a ride, even though there's no snow on the ground. Today, I'm riding my Mongoose Dolomite on the Hallowell Reservoir Trails in Hallowell, Maine. Up here in Maine, and the Northeast in general, I often get the impression that when most folks think about fat bikes, they associate them with snow and winter. And they are great at that. The thing is, they are a lot of fun any time of the year. Now, earlier this summer, for example, my friend invited me to go riding with her on sand and gravel trails near her house. We rode in deep sand, loose gravel, and on exposed ledges. There were also some connector trails on loamy woods trails. The ride was challenging in places, but our bikes were perfectly suited for those conditions. The Dolomite did pretty well for an entry-level bike. In fact, I'd say it did well without qualification. Regarding upgrades, last autumn I swapped the stock 7-speed freewheel for a 14 to 34 tooth 8-speed freewheel and an associated derailleur and trigger shifter. Unfortunately, the replacement tourney derailleur wasn't up to the task despite being labeled for 8 speeds. It would only accommodate 7 speeds, which annoyed me. I could do first through 7 or second through 8, but I couldn't do first through 8. So, a couple of weeks ago, I installed an Altus 8-speed derailleur. With almost no adjustments, it worked perfectly on the bike stand.
That's not cool.
The thing is, actual riding is the real test.
Oh.
That's why I'm out here on the trails today, giving the Altus a shakedown ride. I am pleased to report that it worked great, and the bike climbs a lot better with access to that low gear. Plus, I like the fact that all 8 gears are now available, since I like my stuff to work the way it's supposed to. On top of all that, I enjoy being out in the woods on occasion. Much like Thoreau when he sought solitude in his little one-room cabin in the woods, I occasionally like to get out and away from things on two wheels. I like the way the woods smells, I like the way the woods sounds, and I just like being out and around and not having a care, even if it's only for an hour. Now, I didn't bother recording the maintenance or the derailleur installation for this video, since those are really both kind of basic and I'm not entirely certain it's all that interesting to watch me do it. But if you are interested in such things, I can recommend the Park Tools, GMBN Tech, and RJ the Bike Guy YouTube channels. That's where I learned to do all this stuff. When I bought this bike from Wal-Mart, I paid a whopping $297 for it, assembled, and I would add assembled well, for pickup at the local store. I know that a lot of people disparage Wal-Mart for its bikes and the assembly quality. The thing is, I have personally never had a bad bike experience with Wal-Mart. I've bought, 4 off the floor and 3 from Walmart.com. And again, no complaints whatsoever. Now, at the end of the day, I like to ride bikes. Any kind of bike, any type of terrain. And while I do like riding the Dolomite in the snow, I don't limit myself to winter riding for it. I've ridden it on trails several times over this summer, and I thoroughly enjoyed doing so. So, here's the thing. Call me crazy, but I like having fun. Riding this bike is one of the ways that I have fun, particularly in these past few months when life has been so, well, let's say complicated. I like to get out in the woods, put in some effort climbing, coast downhill, and just cruise along on the flatter sections. I find it satisfying to occasionally ride a simple bike. Make no mistake, despite the outlandishly large tires, the Dolomite is a pretty simple bike. It has no suspension, a plain steel frame, and a 1x8 drivetrain. Nothing fancy, but it feels like it is greater than the sum of its parts. And speaking of parts, if all goes well, there will be a big upgrade for the Dolomite for my next video. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. It really does help the channel. If you have not subscribed, please consider doing so. Below left is the Dolomite playlist, and below right is a link to another video that I think you would like. And until next time, I wish you health and happiness in these trying times. As always, thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it when you do. Bye.